So I just have to kind of wrap some of this up. So thank everyone. I want to thank everyone for participating in this panel. But I'm a city planner by training, and so I want to leave you with two phrases to kind of think about as I get on my plane and go back to the Great White North tomorrow. I mean, seriously, it's probably a blizzard up there. Anyway, one phrase that we use in planning, and I usually start my planning courses off with, is that planning is the organization of hope. So if hope is not just this kind of lofty thing that we just kind of point to make ourselves feel better, that means we have to have an agenda. There has to be an itinerary that kind of takes us from point A to point B. And so that's the first thing to think about. The second thing is, although I went to Morehouse and I love most of the parts of everything about Morehouse, I love the Clark Atlanta's motto, better, which is, I will find a way or make one. So I think for the WCA, this is probably the thing to do, is that whether people are at the table, whether they're willing or not, I work with the willing. You don't want to talk or you don't want to deal, bye. I got other things to do. I'll find a way to make one. So I encourage and I'm glad to see that this effort is flourishing, and I hope that you all find a way or make one.
So I'm thrilled to see that this happened the way that we really wanted it to happen. There's so much that we can glean, that we can learn from our community partners, and this was exactly the point that we were trying to make. I wanna bring us back just very quickly before we let everyone go, and thank you so much for staying. I know we're right at time. But I want you to understand that the Westside Communities Alliance is really about identifying all of these points, these assets, these places of intervention. The reason why you see the Westside Communities Alliance and it doesn't have Georgia Tech all over it is because it's a placeholder. It's a place where we're saying Georgia State, AUC, Spelman College, ITC, Morehouse School of Medicine, AMC, you know, CAU, we all have a role to play. And there's no reason, we pointed out this triangle and we've been trying to make the point that we're too close. People talk about triangles in other cities and colleges and universities that are in close proximity. There are very few that are closer than us, right? And so when we start concretely looking at what it is that we have the ability to do, there is so much that we can be doing, but our motto here, together we can do better. We can't do this without listening to communities. We can't do this without engaging with the actual issues that are being raised by communities. And so I think it was really visionary for Dean Jacqueline Royster, and I have to call her name because she very much so came to these communities from Ohio when she came first African American dean at Georgia Tech. But when she came back and saw that these communities were not the thriving communities that she remembered growing up, she said something had to be done. And she didn't say that only Tech had to do it. She said, we need all of our folks who are in this area. We need all of the institutions who are dedicated to doing something, right? Dedicated to really doing the work. We need them all. And so therefore we're going to create something where we can draw folks together. And so, you know, I think it's a testimony to the fact that we reached out to folks and said, we'd like to do this panel probably a little over 2 weeks ago. And just about every single person made it happen so that they could be here. And so I think that I just want to thank everyone, and I really, really want to thank Dr. Harley Etienne for coming back, and thank you for getting us started. But particularly want to say thank you to all of our panelists for being honest and telling us the things that we need to hear. It is the marching orders, right, that we take. We're going to be doing our strategic planning next week. But we're going to sit down and pay close attention to the things that people say they actually want to see happen and trying to create the forums for this work to get done. So before you leave, if you have time tomorrow, come on out. If you don't know about the Proctor Creek Watershed, you want to know, the best way to learn is to teach, right? So please show up and come. Send us stuff. Use our website. Tweet us. Tell us what's going on. We will get it out. We will lift it up. Tell us the great stories. We will lift them up, right? But very much so, please feel like this is a place that you can help shape and grow. We're very young. We only had staff. Mackenzie and I have been on staff for a year, just over a year. And it really is just saying, pay attention and make the connections. Connect the dots. We still have more dots to connect. We're already meeting with folks across colleges and universities. There's so much more that we can do. So I'm very, very grateful to all of you for coming out. When I look in these communities, some people see built structures and say the infrastructure is bad and something's wrong and it's vacant housing and so on and so forth. I see all of the opportunities for thriving communities, and I see all of the concrete work that people are doing. You can't go 24 hours without naming 10 organizations that are out here, churches and organizations who are out here doing stuff, feeding people, you know, trying to address, doing beautification, you name it. Folks are doing work, and so you can't see that when you look at buildings. You have to know and talk to people, and that's been the value of what we've been able to do over the past year. Knowing and talking to people, it's relationships that's going to make the difference, okay? So thank you all again for coming out. We really, really appreciate you, spending your Friday afternoon with us. We hope that you will take all the information, and we'll see you all next semester. Okay.